What's going on, everybody? Thank you guys so much for checking out my brand new channel. As you guys know, I have another channel, Steven in Stereo, and I focus on live performances and music videos. And I've done albums over there, and you guys love them so much. And obviously, I love to do albums. That's the way I listen to music. So I thought it'd be great to have a channel where I just dedicate all of the videos to albums because that's my favorite thing to do. And what better way to do it than to start this with a highly requested video. We're gonna do Lana Del Rey's NFR album. Just for those of you that don't know, the only reason I haven't done this album yet is because I just started discovering her music over the summer, and I wanted to give each album its own individual time. I wanted to really get to listen to it over and over because I feel like Lana's music is great at first, but it gets even better with time. Her music just ages so well. And through all the albums I've listened to so far, because I've listened to everything up until this album, my favorite album is still Born to Die. I thought Ultraviolence might take it over, but it definitely didn't. There's just something that keeps me coming back to this album. I listen to it over and over again, and that's even when you include the bonus tracks from the Paradise Edition. I just feel like I fall in love more and more with this album with time, and so I'm really excited to see what she's done here because this is nominated, I think, for a Grammy. People are talking about this being the album of the year. Some people even say the album of the decade, and that's a lot of hype for an album, especially with so many good albums that have been put out this year. So I don't know that I'll be able to actually give you that information if I think it's album of the year on one listen because Lana's music just isn't that way. However, I'm really excited to see what happens here, what happens with the production. She worked with Jack, which is gonna be amazing. He did Lord's Melodrama, he did some of Taylor Swift stuff, and all of it was so good. So I'm really excited to jump into this. Now, mind you, this is a brand new channel, meaning I probably don't have any subscribers right now. So if you guys want to do me a huge favor, if you like album videos, you want to see me dive into albums, EPs, talk about vinyl, things like that, please make sure to subscribe to this channel. It helps me out so much. And also, I'm very active on social media, so you guys can definitely hit up my Instagram and my Twitter. But with all those things out of the way, I'm really excited to jump into Norman fucking Rockwell and see what Lana Del Rey has done with this alleged masterpiece. So with all those things out of the way, let's go ahead and check out Norman fucking Rockwell, the title track. She's definitely someone that has a build-up intro, and I feel like that's pretty common throughout a lot of her music. Like that first song is always a good build-up into the track. One thing I'd like to point out right away is I definitely feel like the production on this album is already better than this one. One thing that I felt as I keep going back to this album is that her vocals feel too far in the background, and I do feel like sometimes her vocals can sometimes feel like just part of the atmosphere. However, on Lust for Life, I feel like her vocals were lost in a lot of that. So I like that even on this title track right away, very clear vocals and very on top of the production. Yeah, right away for this intro, I love already hearing that really great separation between her vocals and the instruments. I'm glad she's not blended in the back. I don't know if the rest of the album is like that, but I do feel like the singles that we heard were definitely produced that way, and I appreciate that very much. When it's someone like Lana, I like to really hear those vocals, so I appreciate Jack's production on this. I don't know if he did the entire album or just some of the tracks, but yeah, I appreciate that separation. Okay, the next track we're gonna listen to is Mariner's Apartment Complex.
Apartment complex, I ain't no candle in the sleepless. Take a deep breath, baby, let me in. Feeling I'll command your boat to me.
It's crazy how from album to album I can actually hear progression in her vocals, and sometimes I feel like that's probably pretty common with a lot of artists. They're going to continue to get better at their craft, but I feel like with Lana's, it's usually like a big difference. You can usually tell right away that she's been practicing, that she's been getting more confident. She is somebody that is known to have a lot of stage fright and things like that. And so as long as you're constantly building those vocals and you're building that confidence, it's going to show not only in your live performances, but in your recorded stuff as well. And I'm hearing it here almost instantly.
Think about it, the darkness, the deepness, is a big time believer.
She's doing such a great job of delivering these vocals over this instrumental that is acoustic driven, and I feel like that's something that I've always enjoyed in her songs. I feel like some of my favorite songs from Lana always have some sort of an acoustic guitar in that instrumental. I feel like it's where she really shines. And I don't know, sometimes you can tell when an artist is really into an instrumental or into a certain type of music, and it really comes out when they do instrumental tracks like this. Yeah. 2 tracks into this album, and I'm already thanking Jack Antonoff in my head for making me appreciate the fact that I invested in such expensive speakers for my computer, because I can hear it in that production right away. Lana, to me, has never sounded so good over instrumentals as she has in these 2 songs. There's just something about that separation, something about hearing that acoustic guitar in the back of this song in particular. I just feel like it's something I could get lost in all day. Talk about Lana's music being a vibe, and I feel like right away I'm catching those vibes on this album. The next track we're gonna listen to is called Venice Bitch.
Fresh out of Fox Forever.
Fresh out of Fucks Forever. Again, I know you guys have been listening to this album, but I'm gonna nerd out for a second. I love the vocal separation in this album. I'm gonna keep talking about it. It's one of the reasons that I feel like these tracks are gonna stand out.
It's me, a little Venice bitch. Summer fades away.
I feel like I pick up Born to Die vibes in this song. I'm gonna say vibes a lot, but I feel like Lana equals vibes. It's just what happens when I review her music, when I talk about her music. But I pick up a little bit of Born to Die in this, and so obviously I'm gonna be attached to that. I am emotionally attached to that album probably forever.
And I'm insane. Norman Rockwell.
I feel like this is one of the first albums where every lyric she says is very obvious. It's very easy to understand. Everything is enunciated very well, and some of that does go back to the production. But oftentimes I feel like during my first or second listen of Lana's music without pulling up the lyrics, I have trouble deciding always what she's saying or following the story. But I feel like in these couple of songs so far, there's just a lot more separation in that, and it makes it a lot easier for me to do that. So I'm not gonna lie, when I first went to play that song and I saw it was 9.5 minutes, I was a little bit nervous, because sometimes with a 9.5 minute song, unless it's like some like doom metal or something just kind of playing in the background, some sort of instrumental for me, hard to keep your attention, hard to really commentate on it. However, the only way I can really describe that song is an adventure, a journey, and for some reason, we got towards the end there, and I actually wasn't ready for it to be over. There's some really great things happening in the song. Not only Lana vocally, and as she's kind of giving us this story and bringing us through this journey with her, but the production on this track, the instrumentation, some of the synthesizers, some of the guitar tone that is happening in here, you just get lost in it. And again, I'm really glad I invested in good speakers, because I would be doing myself such a dishonor to not be able to hear this production so well. This is absolutely incredible, and I feel like of 3 tracks, this is a highlight already for me. I cannot wait to start editing this video and put this record on in the back just to hear that again and really get to take it in again, because I feel like that kind of production is something that you just are, I don't know. I'm personally obsessed with it already, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. One listen through and I already want to hear it again. I feel like that is a very common theme with Lana's music. However, that track for some reason is just hitting a little bit different. I can't wait to hear it again. The next song we're gonna listen to, I have heard before. It's Fuck It, I Love You. But again, we're treating this stuff like it's the first time, so let's do it. Oh, I see Hope is a Dangerous Thing on this album. I love that song. Okay, Fuck It, I Love You.
I like to see everything in neon. One day I woke up like maybe I'll do California, but it's just a state of mind. It turns out everywhere you go, you.
I know I really loved this song the first time I listened to it. I'm pretty sure this is something that we did a music video to. Hearing it again to me is invoking the exact same feelings from the first time I heard it, as if I'm hearing it for the first time again, if that makes sense.
Sweet, turn the radio on. I like you.
Yes.
Fuck it, I like you.
4 tracks in, and I think this could very well be my favorite Lana Del Rey album. I can see it already. This album is hitting with people so much more, because I feel like this is the first time that I've ever felt like Lana Del Rey was at the forefront of the music. I always felt like her vocals were brought in the back almost as part of an instrument, and that takes time to get used to, and that's not what everybody likes. And I feel like this album is hitting so hard to people because it's the first time that I feel like you're hearing Lana Del Rey and she is owning everything. You have to hear every word, every note, every vocal, and the production is such a service to her right now. And I'm glad to see that this is where she's gone. Obviously, her past albums are absolutely amazing, but there's something about that separation in the vocals here that I feel like the average person picking up Lana Del Rey's album for the first time can connect with this so easily. You can just experience so many great things about her vocals right away, and I definitely feel like that's going to be the reason why this album is doing just so good. So the next song we're going to listen to is Doin' Time. I knew right away that Lana Del Rey is a perfect candidate to cover a Sublime song because she loves marijuana, she loves California, and I feel like she embodies like that vibe so much that it only makes sense that if she's going to do a cover or her own rendition of a song, it's gonna be Sublime. Hey! Yeah, that is going to go down in history as such an iconic cover. You know, people cover songs and sometimes it fits perfectly, sometimes it doesn't really make a lot of sense. This is the perfect cover for her to do. So shout out to Lana and shout out to Sublime for clearing that and letting her do it. They were really smart to do it because they're going to obviously make money off of this. There's some royalties off of it, and this album went on to do such great numbers, so that's really, really great. And yeah, a super sick cover. I'm excited that she did it. When I saw it on Spotify, I was excited. I listened to it right away because I couldn't believe we were going to get this. I had no idea it was actually going to make it to the album because that's a really big deal, so I'm stoked. Okay, the next track I'm going to listen to is track 6. It's called Love Song.
Be my once in a lifetime. I'm a fucking mess, but
I am falling in love with her vocals more and more as this album progresses. I've always been a huge fan of hers because her vocals are very unique. Not many, if any, people really sound like her. And the way that she delivers her vocals and her lyrics are just a little bit different than everybody else. But to hear that progression in her vocal talent and her vocal ability, and to hear it shine through just so beautifully on this record, I'm just falling in love.
I like to think that you would stick around. I just like to make you proud. The sound of love.
I personally feel like 2019 Lana Del Rey is the best version of herself. There's so many versions of her to love and to enjoy, and there's the start of her career, everything that's happened in between and now. There's just so many moments to love, but there's something so different about 2019 Lana. There's something that sonically is so different, musically, lyrically, everything just feels very different, but in the most positive way ever. I don't think I've ever noticed her vocals so much as I do in this album. And again, I don't know if that is the production and the separation, or if it's just that she is on another level at this point. But to hear her continue to get better is such an amazing moment, especially if you're a fan of hers. You want to see your favorite artist continue to grow and succeed. And this album's doing so good, and I mean, you can tell why. We're not even halfway through this album, and I can already tell why this album is doing so great. So the next song we're going to listen to is like everybody's Instagram and Twitter handle, Cinnamon Girl.
You're touching me. Yeah, but I just find my way back in. Violet, blue, green, red to keep me at arm's length. As long as I wanna see.
I feel like those lyrics and that concept combined with this beat, there's something incredible happening in the song, not just lyrically and not just vocally, but with the production. And when you put all that together, the song is extremely enticing, and I feel like it just kind of keeps you looped in hearing the beat over and over again while, I don't know, Lana tells the story. For those of you who understand what I'm talking about, I'm having sort of a moment here. You like really connect with something, and then you kind of get lost in certain elements of the song. There's just so much happening at once. So that may very well be my favorite Lana Del Rey song of all time already, because I feel like her and Jack together create such a beautiful soundscape, such a beautiful moment. And I feel like her other songs are produced very well, her other albums are produced very well, but there's something about the chemistry between these two that creates such a much bigger moment. And for a song to be both great lyrically, both amazing vocally, and take it to the next level by having that instrumental, having that production that pulls you in and holds you throughout that entire song, it makes you feel emotionally connected to the song, and you kind of feel like you're going through the same thing with Lana. And I don't know, it's just an amazing feeling. It's an amazing experience when you can connect to music like that. And I feel like this track just shot all the way to the top of my favorite Lana Del Rey songs, straight up just on the first listen. Like, how many songs can really do that? Blue Jeans kind of did that to me. Born to Die, obviously. West Coast, which is one of my favorite songs. Those songs all do that, but for some reason this one, I guess, with that great production, just all together just became my favorite song. Fucking crazy. So I'm like, I don't know, that's kind of hard for it being halfway through the album, because that's now my favorite song ever, and it's really hard to listen to the rest of the album now, knowing that I just hit the top. But I also have never heard these other songs, maybe one or two of them. So we're going to see if this continues to be the theme. However, it's going to be hard to top that song. The next track we're going to listen to is How to Disappear. I feel like this is the first time on this album that we've really heard that vocal style from Lana Del Rey. She's used it numerous times in her past albums, but I feel like this is the first time that I have a whole verse of this side of Lana, which again we haven't heard in this album, I don't think. So I am very happy with the decision to turn her vocals up like 3 or 4 decibels from the way that these songs normally are, because typically when she has a track that sounds like this with her vocals like this, it's so washed out in the background you can barely decipher her from the bass happening in the back. And I hate when that happens because she has such a beautiful voice. When it's like a lo-fi sound, when it's like an atmospheric sound, it makes sense. But again, I just appreciate the little thoughts in the production here to make sure that Lana really stood out in this album. Yeah, I'm gonna have such a sore neck tomorrow from just how much I'm vibing to these beats that are happening in this. Again, I just love the fact that there's so much clarity in Lana's voice on this. And I know it's like a cop-out to maybe talk about production on an album and not really dive in, but I think from a standpoint of somebody who has now listened to all of her albums except for the Lizzie Grant album, which I will do at some point, but listening to the Lana Del Rey catalog and really thinking about criticisms in my head that I wish were different. Like I wish that some of the other albums had this better vocal separation, because this is the first time that people are really getting to see just how incredible vocally she is. I feel like it's that combined with this instrumental, these instrumentals that are just causing such memorable moments on this album. The fact that I cannot wait to listen to this album again just off first listen based on some of these songs, and not having a single skip yet. There's not a song that I can think like, oh man, I probably would have skipped this one. I mean, I'm only 8 tracks in, but still, I think that's important that 8 tracks in and we have a solid album already. And I'm pretty sure I've been saying that since track 2. Okay, the next song we're gonna listen to is California.
Faster than your fastest pace. I've done it, but I read it in your letter. You sent to a friend. 3, 4.
We're doing that again. I could hear her counting that down in the background there, and for that drop, this entire minute and 19 seconds has been a build-up. I knew something was coming, but that was great. I don't know who that song was about, but just following the story there, talking about somebody who apparently is not in the United States anymore, that she wants to bring back to California. Please hit me up. We'll go do all these favorite things that you loved, or that we loved, all these memories that we had. If you come back, just hit me up. I don't know who the song is about, and that's all just based on hearing the lyrics for the first time, so maybe I missed that entire thing. But I love the build-ups in that. Again, the minute and 19 seconds into that song, she counts down like right before this huge bass drum hits, and we get this amazing chorus. And again, vocally, just hearing her so easily sing over this instrumental and really bring you on, again, that journey with her, telling you her story. I just feel like that's a very common theme going on in this album, and it's very easy to fall back into over and over again. Like, again, I can't wait to listen to this album again. The next track we're gonna listen to is called The Next Best American Record.
Best American record
The way Lana writes music is very interesting because she almost always has, it's like a signature thing for her to have a pre-chorus that is very atmospheric. It makes you feel like you're having a chorus, and then she gives you the actual chorus after that. And it's like verse, pre-chorus, chorus, but that pre-chorus feels like a standout on its own. And I've always loved to hear those basically double choruses from Lana.
Something that I never knew. Thousands of girls love.
So I don't really know what that song was about. I was listening to the lyrics, but I really couldn't make a story. She's talking about her and her baby spend their entire days together, all their time together, trying to make the next best American record. Don't really know what else was going on in that song. However, again, I just want to talk about those double choruses that she has, because that's a signature thing with Lana Del Rey. Other artists do it as well, but she's very known for that. I always anticipate that that's going to happen, and you can kind of hear it because even in the pre-chorus, it still feels like it's building up before you get that big drop to the chorus. I love the production on this song, those heavy drums coming into the chorus, and hearing Lana's soft, like almost whisper voice in certain parts, feeling so clear and coming through so strong on this track. It's very easy to get lost in a trance, and even if you don't know what the song is about, you still feel captivated by it. At least that's how I feel sometimes. There's a lot of music that Lana puts out that maybe I can't relate to, but I always feel emotionally invested to it somehow, and I think that's kind of one of the things that she's able to do as an artist, and maybe that's why so many people love her so much. The next track we're going to listen to is The Greatest. I feel like I've heard this song before, though I'm not entirely sure. She had put out a double music video, and I thought maybe this was on it. Maybe not. Okay. Yes, I definitely heard this when she did the Fuck It, I Love You and The Greatest, I think. I think those were the two songs that were together, and I loved this song then, so let's hope I still do.
Dennis's last stop before Kokomo. Nobody wants you before the fall.
Oh, I'm so fucking excited right now. I have had that melody stuck in my head, I guess since the first time I heard this song, but I haven't been able to pinpoint what song that was. And I always think about it whenever I'm trying to think, I'm like, who the fuck wrote that song? I hear this melody happening and I loved it. This is it. I'm gonna go back so I can hear it again.
Don't leave, I just need a wake-up call.
It's like the ultimate satisfaction when you finally can connect the song you've had stuck in your head but you forgot with the actual song. I feel so good right now.
I guess I'm signing off after all.
I'm picking up some Ultraviolence album inspiration and influence in this track as well. Anytime a guitar track comes through on a Lana song like that, I immediately go back to Ultraviolence because that song was just, or that album was just so psychedelic and guitar heavy. I personally feel like that was one of those songs that I'm glad she made into a single by doing the music video mashup with the other song, because that shows a big range of Lana. It shows a lot of different vocal styles from her. It shows a lot of different influence that she's taken from several other genres of music, and how all that can be combined to create this really beautiful moment. And I loved that song then, but I love it so much more now, hearing it just big as part of this album and to get to hear it on its own. When you put two songs together, you're listening to it as one big track, but to hear The Greatest as its own song, I still love the song so much, even more now than I did before. And yeah, that melody has been stuck in my head for, it's got to be like 3 months now. And I'm so glad that that felt good. Okay, the next track we're going to listen to is a song called Bartender.
Wearing black to the house party. I bought me a truck in the middle of the night. Ha 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 ha. 60 mph on PCH Drive.
60 mph on PCH Drive. I love the way she wrote that. It like definitely puts you right into the story, thinking of Pacific Coast Highway. Seeing her like speed by. So the only thing I don't think I liked is the way that she said Bart's tender. I felt like that was kind of weird. However, I love, again, the fact that her storytelling is so great and the production goes so well with it that it feels like you're in the story, witnessing it happen right before your eyes. And she does a really great job explaining that and making you feel that way, even with little things like 60 mph on PCH Drive. I'll never forget that line. What a cool line, a cool lyric, and a great way to really set the scene for where this is all taking place. And I don't know, I enjoy that about her. I enjoy that there's a little bit of attention to detail when it comes to things like that, especially when it has to do with California. Her ability to create California is the same way I feel like the Red Hot Chili Peppers are able to do that. They are one of those bands that no matter what they do, everything sounds straight up like California. So between them, Sublime, and Lana Del Rey, they do a really great job of just, you know exactly what California looks like and what it feels like just based off their music alone. Okay, the next track we're going to listen to is the second to last. It's called Happiness is a Butterfly.
I heard one thing. Happiness is a butterfly. I catch it like every night. Escapes from my hands into moonlight.
I love the concept of these lyrics here. Happiness is a butterfly. I try to catch it every night. Think about how butterflies are always flying away, fluttering away, and you're always trying to catch them, but they're usually quicker than you. And yeah, she's kind of telling a story of how she's trying to be happy, trying to catch what's the worst that can happen to a girl who's already hurt.
I said, don't be a jerk, don't call me a taxi. I'm like rabbit in the alley. I just wanna hold, baby, I just wanna hate.
I didn't expect at the beginning of that song to love it so much, but I just found the second favorite song on the first listen of this album. So Cinnamon Girl, incredible song. Happiness is a Butterfly feels the same to me. I love the lyrical concept of this. I love the delivery of some of these lines, especially going into that chorus. I just feel like you can almost feel that emotional breakdown happening while she's talking about trying to catch happiness and just how hurt she is. And I love at the moment when she says, if he's a serial killer, what's the worst that could happen to somebody because I'm already hurt? And I just feel like when you put all of those things together, it makes for an amazing track. And even on the first listen, I can get those emotional connections and emotional feelings right away. Definitely a standout track right there. Fucking loved it. Damn. I just love that part when she starts like delivering the lyrics a lot faster than she was in the rest of the song. I just feel like that adds so much more momentum and so much more emotion to this track. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. I've heard this song. I really enjoy this song, but we're gonna listen to it again. Hope is a dangerous thing for a woman like me to have, but I have it. I think it's a great way to end this record. Let's do it.
Smiling for miles in pink dresses and high heels and white yacht. Walking like I'm 24/7 Sylvia Plath.
Yes, I love this song.
Fighting hope is a dangerous thing for a woman like me to have.
That song brings back so many memories from the summer because as I was discovering Lana Del Rey's music, this song had already come out as a single, and it was already in her top tracks on Spotify. And I had just done either the Born to Die video or the Blue Jeans video. I don't quite remember which one was first. And right away, I just started like hearing some of the singles on Spotify. And I've always felt like these are one of those songs that are just memorable to me, not only just for the fact that I enjoy the song overall, but it also just brings me back to a place where I can just remember the first time I heard it and remember what I was doing and how I felt when I heard it. And even though it's such a new song on her newest record, it feels like a classic to me because when I was learning her music, this is one of the songs that I listened to. But it's also a really great way to end the album because hope is a dangerous thing for a woman like me to have, but I have it. She's hopeful even at the end of all of this. And I just gotta say, I cannot believe, I'm so glad that it's still 2019 because I cannot believe that I had not listened to this album. I think that if I explained it well to you guys, then you at least understand why I didn't. I just felt like I needed to listen to these albums and give them adequate amount of listens and really dive in and feel myself captivated by these, because her music isn't one of those one-time listen and everything just kind of makes sense. You got to let it grow and grow and grow. And I actually feel like even on first listen, this is my favorite Lana Del Rey record. Every song, front to back, title to credits, best album that I've heard from her, and that's just coming on the first listen. I can't even wait to decide how I feel like 10 listens in, but it's just concise. Every song has a purpose, a place. The production on the album is amazing. There's so much clarity in her vocals. There's just so much of Lana that you're getting in this that I feel like some of the production in the past albums have actually left me feeling like I'm not getting enough Lana. Like, she's too much in the background. I'm not hearing enough of her beautiful vocals. I'm not able to pick apart the lyrics on the first listen because sometimes you can't understand them. You're not able to hear them very well. And I gotta say that NFR is now, let's be real here. Norman fucking Rockwell is Lana Del Rey's best album. My second favorite album, though, will always be Born to Die. There's something very special about this album, and it will always remain that. But NFR is a perfect product through and through, start to finish. Absolutely amazing, clear, concise. I can't say it enough. I cannot believe that I waited till 2 days before the end of the year. However, I cannot wait. Tomorrow, I think, I'm going to film my top albums of 2019. I made an Instagram post. I had not listened to this. There were a couple albums that I didn't have physical copies of yet, so I wasn't able to really dive in. But definitely, now that I've done that, I'm going to do a top albums of 2019 because this album is so high up in that list, even on the first listen. I cannot believe I'm saying that. I'm typically not somebody who makes that kind of judgment based off one listen. But everything coming together, Jack Antonoff's production, Lana's vocals, Lana's lyrics, and the just concepts of this album all coming together easily lets me stand out as this being one of the best albums of 2019, if not the best. And you guys should know that's a lot coming from me. I don't do that, but I feel that way right away off first listen. I can't wait to listen to it again. Thank you guys so much for being so patient and waiting for this video. I hope you guys liked it. If you guys did, please remember this is a brand new channel and I probably don't have any subscribers. This probably isn't gonna get a lot of views. So if you guys would do me a favor and at least hit the subscribe button and like the video. You guys can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Links are always in the description. I post a lot of albums and things like that over there, so make sure to check that out. And I'm also very active on Twitter. I do have a Patreon if you guys are interested in helping to support the channel. It makes making album videos like this a little bit easier since most of these videos are usually not monetized, especially on this channel. It doesn't have monetization yet. So I hope you guys liked everything. Let me know in the comment section what your favorite tracks on this album were. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.